Hey there, what's up guys? My name is Useless Mango and I'd like to welcome you all to today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video where the crazy new trailer for Further Adventures in Finance and Felony has just dropped, and I'm going to be doing a breakdown and showing you guys some of the things that you might have missed when you first watched it. So as always, if you do go on to enjoy the video or you find it interesting at all, then definitely be sure to drop the video a like rating, and if you are new around here and you like my GTA 5 content, then why not hit that subscribe button? It only takes 2 seconds and it means that you won't miss any of my future uploads. Now please be aware that this is probably going to be a long video, so let's not waste any more time and let's get it started. Okay, so just before we get started with the breakdown, Rockstar did release a Newswire post as well as the trailer, and I'll read it to you guys now. It says, "Ever since you first stepped off that flight to Los Santos, it's all been about rising up the criminal ranks, accruing wealth in your maze bank account, building a reputation, and taking no mess along the way. Now realize your goal to become the ultimate kingpin of Los Santos and Blaine County. Build an empire as a CEO, traffic illicit cargo and contraband, disrupt rival supply chains, acquire extravagant new vehicles, open prestigious new offices, hire an executive assistant, and run the town one hostile takeover at a time." Okay, so onto the breakdown. What I've pretty much done is go through the trailer and taken screenshots at key moments where I think there's something rather interesting. Okay, so we start with this screenshot right here. It's right at the beginning of the trailer and it's where the 3 cars and the truck are heading into this train yard area, and at a first glance you may not notice that the vehicles in this shot except the mule are going to be new ones coming with this update. So I don't know the names of the vehicles, but we can see the Benefactor logo on the black SUVs, and the car in front we seem to see a fair bit of throughout the duration of the trailer, and it looks to me like it's a convertible version of the Enos Windsor that came out with Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1, I believe, and it is one of my favourite cars in GTA Online as it's so fun to drive, so personally I'm happy to see a convertible version being brought into the game. So we don't know exactly what's going on in this screenshot, but judging by the mule, 2 what could be armoured cars, and the Windsor, I'm going to assume that this is one of the new CEO missions that we're going to be able to do in GTA Online, and this train yard looks like it'll actually be one of the locations where one or more of the CEO missions is going to take place. Now I did a bit of thinking, and this area does actually have a gang attack that was usually spawned there, and I believe that it's actually Merryweather that you fight against, and as we're going to see in an upcoming screenshot, it also looks like we're going to be acquiring a fair bit of merchandise from Merryweather throughout these CEO missions. But imagine if instead of finding ammo and cash at gang attack locations, we actually found merchandise that we could store and sell instead. That would be pretty cool, but anyways, let's move on to the next screenshots. Okay, so our next few screenshots are actually taken from inside one of the warehouses that we're going to be able to purchase as part of this update, and from this first one we can actually see some of the merchandise that we're going to be able to store. So we can see drugs like Deludamol and electronics over to the right, so we've got some televisions that look to be from the in-game parody of Samsung, and over to the right hand side we can also see what look to be iFruit phones as well. But obviously the centre of this image is based around the human organ for transplant box, so it could be that not only are we collecting and storing drugs and guns, but it seems like that when Rockstar said we're going to be able to collect medical supplies, they also meant actual human organs. Now I don't know how much organs would sell for in real life, but it must be a fair bit, otherwise we wouldn't be storing them in our warehouses. Okay, so on to our next screenshot. We're still in the warehouse, but this time we can see 4 characters of what I assume will be an organization. Now I don't know if this is a new jumper that the player in the front is wearing, but if it is, then it does look like we might be getting some new clothing with this update as well. But the main reason why I've taken this screenshot is because of the Merryweather security crate in the bottom left. So as I said before, it does look like we're going to be stealing quite a lot of things from Merryweather, and now that I mention it, they do actually pop up quite a lot in this trailer. Now in terms of the rest of the image, there's not really that much to talk about. We can see some paintings in the back left of the image, some electronics behind the characters. There's also what could be furniture to the right hand side of the image, but besides the explosives in the front of the image, there isn't really that much that we can see. Next up is really just an image of the entire warehouse where we can see just how big these places are actually going to be. From this image we can see a whole range of items like medical supplies, paintings and decorative items, explosives, guns, all arranged in these massive racks. Now from this image it does unfortunately look like we're not going to be storing vehicles, but from the vehicles we've seen in this trailer so far, I'm not complaining. So our next 2 images show us a better look of the Windsor convertible as well as the new Benefactor armoured SUVs, so they're pretty cool. And here we could take a look at what could be possible customization for the Windsor convertible, because with the normal Windsor your primary colour is the main body of the car, then the secondary is the bonnet, roof and boot. But this one looks to have the primary colour being the entirety of the car, then the secondary is the convertible soft top roof. And on our second image we can see the new Benefactor SUV with similar styled armour plating to that of the Shafter and the Baller we got with Executives and Other Criminals, which leads me to believe that we're going to be getting both armoured and non-armoured versions of this new SUV. Also, something we can see from the image is obviously the caption that says disrupt rival supply chains, so maybe this could be a mission where we have to intercept a drug deal or something that another organisation is currently trying to collect. And from the location of this image we can see that it takes place around where Franklin lives at the start of GTA 5 single player, so maybe Lamar could be involved in some of these missions. Maybe we'd get to go up against rival gangs to acquire merchandise, but we're going to have to wait and see when the DLC finally drops next Tuesday on June 7th. Okay, so the reason I've chose to put this image up on screen is because of the weapon the character in the blue suit is holding. Now the gun is actually the special carbine rifle that's been in the game for a very long time now, but look at the magazine that's clipped into the gun. This is not the normal clip that usually loads into this weapon. In fact, this double drum mag also does show up a couple of times in this trailer. First here on the special carbine, and then on the compact rifle later in the trailer. Moving on to our next image, and here we get a look at the new plane that's coming with further adventures in finance and felony, and also another front end look at what is most likely the new Windsor convertible. Now besides the fact that this is a new plane coming in the update, there's not really that much to talk about it. Yes, it looks awesome and there's probably going to be some different colour stripes on it, but from what we can see in the screenshot, that's unfortunately about it. Then we move on and we get to our first new trailer look at the Pegassi Reaper, just like we've seen in the previous Newswire post where Rockstar officially showed it to us for the first time. The only difference I can see in terms of customization though is the fact that this blue Reaper doesn't have a spoiler on it. My best guess is that this car is going to be like the Zentorno in the fact that it doesn't have a spoiler when you first purchase it, but then it's going to have some crazy options when you take it into the Los Santos Customs. Then our next two images show us two new what look to be sports and supercars coming into the game, and this first green one looks insane. Unfortunately I can't really get a better angle on this image, but from here we can at least see the manufacturer on the front logo, and this one looks to be Vapid, which is the in-game version of Ford. Then on the next image we get a look at what looks to be more of a sports car than a supercar, but nevertheless, like before, we can see the logo on the front of the car, and this one is actually Grotti, which is the in-game version of Ferrari in real life. Now this car does, to me at least, look kind of similar to the Furor GT, which is currently in the game. But nevertheless, these cars look awesome and I can't wait for them to come out. Now our next image is kind of interesting. It takes place inside one of the new headquarters that's coming into the game, but there's this massive 3D model of Los Santos and Blaine County. It kind of looks like a 3D model of the image we saw on the computer screen in the previous Newswire article, but now we can actually see where the red dots are placed. That's even if they are the same markers, without the annoying angle that was on the image on the computer screen last time. Now I don't know if these are going to be locations where the warehouses are found, then the green one that is marked is the one that the organisation owns, but I think that it's more likely that this be a map for where different deals can go down, or where we can collect items to store in our warehouses. Then the green blip could be the one where the CEO is chosen for the organisation to go to. So these could be warehouses, but they could also be meeting points for our organisations. Now the reason that I've put this image up on screen is not primarily because of the executive assistant, but because of the writing that's on the wall in the background. So as we can see, it says finance and felony, but similar to the yachts from Executives and Other Criminals, I think that this board will actually show the name of our organisation. Because when you think about it, you wouldn't really have a massive poster saying finance and felony in a sort of receptionist area for an organisation that isn't called finance and felony. Now on to our next image, where we can of course see the rest of the interior that we saw originally from the last Newswire post, and it looks awesome. But there's one or two major differences that I want to point out. In the last image we saw of this interior, we saw that there were some electronics and paintings scattered on the floor, but in this image there's none of that. So I don't know what this could mean, and by all means let me know your best theories in the comment section below, but my best guess is that maybe we can store some items in our HQs temporarily as kind of like a safe place before they get moved to the warehouse. But like I said, I don't really know what the reasoning could be, and if you do have any ideas then do be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Then of course we can obviously see the new plane out the window, but that pretty much wraps it up for this image. Now our next image is of the new helicopter that looks to be coming with the update, and it looks amazing. But the main aspect of this image that I'm wondering about is the location. Now this image looks to be taking place on top of the maze bank tower, which as we can see here does have a helipad. And when we see the message that says open prestigious new offices, we can see the maze bank building in the background. So maybe these helipads might become functional in the fact that we can spawn Pegasus and or VIP/CEO vehicles on these helipads. Either that or Rockstar just decided to add this as a pretty cool way to show off the new helicopter. Now our next image is also kind of interesting because we can see the tugboat from Grand Theft Auto 4. Now I don't know why or what this could be doing in GTA Online, but I still think that it's pretty cool how Rockstar are bringing back a vehicle from GTA 4 such as this. Moving on to our next image, and at a first glance you might think that these are just some new potentially armoured vans that we're going to be able to use in our organisations. And to be honest, I thought the same thing, but then a user on Twitter pointed out that this van is actually an upgraded version of the Bravado Rumpo, which for those who don't know is the van that spawns with different liveries such as the Weasel News livery or the Sprunk livery. And the fact that we're now going to be able to own this van and the amount of customization it looks like we're going to be able to have is pretty awesome. Now our next image shows us something absolutely insane, and I was not expecting Rockstar to ever include something like this. And when I first watched the trailer, I thought it was just a garbage truck ramming through some cars. But then I saw the two people standing on the side and soon realised that this was more than just a garbage truck. Now this first image isn't really that clear due to the lens flare, but it's a bit better on the next image, which I'll show to you guys in just a second. But for now, try to stop staring at the truck for a minute and look at the clothing that the two characters on the side of the truck are wearing. They look like they have the Securaserve logo on them, so this could mean a few things. Either we're going to be able to hire NPCs as bodyguards which bear the Securaserve logo on them, or this is new organisation themed clothing that we're going to be able to get a hold of when the DLC finally does release. Right, so this next image we can see the truck a bit better now, and although there is still the lens flare there, it's going to have to do. And now even though this truck is huge and looks epic, there's not really much to say about it because it looks like it's going to be a Pegasus vehicle, which unfortunately means no customization. So again, let's try to stop staring at the truck and focus on the rest of the image, where we can see a Titan flying above and a flare in the background. Now I don't know what the Titan is doing here, but it wouldn't be here without a purpose. So throughout this trailer we've seen different ways of moving contraband and merchandise from the likes of mules to semi-trucks. So maybe we're going to be able to use the Titan now as a way to transport our goods, and maybe the flare in the background was a drop-off point for something that this organisation has just been to pick up. And since we're currently in what looks to be the desert, my guess that this will have been some guns or ammunition that's just been picked up. Now our last but certainly not least image is rather interesting because we can not only see a red cargo bob, but a red cargo bob carrying a shipping container. Now if Rockstar are planning to add Pegasus vehicle customization, then that would be awesome, but unfortunately I seriously doubt it simply because how they've not yet put it into the game. Plus the fact that we can't actually purchase a cargo bob in GTA Online yet, unless you manage to glitch it into the game somehow. So my best guess is that this is either going to be one that spawns naturally for this kind of CEO mission, or we're going to have new VIP or CEO abilities to spawn in this cargo bob. Now I don't know whereabouts this container comes from. Originally I thought we'd pick it from the back of a train, but it does look like we're stealing it from a Merryweather setup in Blaine County. Alright, so I don't know how many of you guys are still here, but if you are, then I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Are you hyped for the further adventures in Finance and Felony update? What do you think of the trailer that Rockstar have just released? Or have you seen something in the trailer that I missed in this video? As always, be sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Okay, so that's all I'm going to be covering today. As always, if you did go on to enjoy the video, then be sure to drop it a like rating, and if you are new to my channel and you like my GTA 5 content, then why not hit that subscribe button? It only takes 2 seconds and it means that you won't miss any of my future uploads. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys in the next video.